Hello there, and welcome back to the Outer Rim. Now, at the time of this recording, there is a crap ton of new Star Wars stuff released that is amazing and I would love to talk about. And I will. The next video I release will probably be everything that happened in the last 24 hours. So make sure to subscribe if you're interested in seeing me talk about that. Anyways, this video is about Chapter 15 of The Mandalorian, and I will be spoiling it, so here we go. Now, to start off, I really like this episode. This is probably my favorite episode of the entire season. The reason being is because it is a standalone by itself Mandalorian episode. There's not characters like Ahsoka or Bo-Katan to influence what's going on, so I really enjoyed it. I know Boba Fett's a recurring character, but he didn't really show up this episode, so I can say this confidently that this episode was probably my favorite in regards to purely the Mandalorian TV show characters. Now, coming off the end of the last episode, we're going to get Mayfield. He's in this, he's taking apart, old ship parts for the New Republic. Anyway, Cara Dune gets him, takes him into her custody. Now, I'm going to say this at the beginning. I think Bill Burr did such a great job this episode. Honestly, in the first season, I was kind of iffy on his acting. It didn't really feel genuine to me. But he only had one episode, and it was kind of whatever for me. It was a good episode. I just didn't feel like his acting was all into it. But I'm telling you, this episode, he killed it. I think his acting was top caliber. We'll talk about why I think that later on in this review. Now, basically, we're trying to find Baby Yoda, so Grogu. But what he needs is a terminal to find the ship. But it needs to be in an Imperial station. So we go to this planet called Morak. Now, on this planet, they're mining Rhydonium. So in order to get in, they have to impersonate these two crewmates driving their Rhydonium back to the factory. Now, Mando and Bill Burr's character both remove whatever clothes they had on. Yes, I know, it's kind of weird. And they're putting on, transport gear they stole from, two stormtroopers. Now, the common theme of this episode was that Din Djarin was going to take off his armor. And he eventually does, obviously. Which I'm going to say now was really weird to see. I don't necessarily like seeing him without his armor. Yes, I know it's Pedro Pascal, a beautiful man, awesome actor. But it was just odd to me. But I hope it becomes more commonplace in the future because I really like Pedro Pascal and I want to see his face, But that's just for another time. But I just wanted to make my comment on how kind of weird it was. Anyways, we're transporting Rhydonium. Obviously, if you don't know what Rhydonium is, it's a very volatile element. So they're transporting it there, and then all of a sudden they get attacked by pirates. Din Djarin does his thing, defends the thing. He's a one-man army, badass motherfucker. It's funny, at the end of this, it kind of looks hopeless because there's so many pirates, and then all of a sudden the Empire shows up with TIE fighters and stuff, and it's kind of interesting. You're sitting back and you're like, well, where's the Empire? We need their help. It's funny that in this setting we were actually hoping for that, but it's kind of funny and cool. Now we go into the base, everyone's congratulating them, and in the mess hall is where you can find the pad that we need to find, Moff Gideon's ship. Where Bill Burr's character is about to walk in, and then all of a sudden he sees an officer that he worked under in his past. If you didn't know Bill Burr's character in season 1, he was formerly an Imperial. He's like, I can't go in there. And then Din's like, I can do it. And he's like, no, you can't. It needs a facial recognition to approve it. Now, right there, I knew Din was going to do it. But the reasoning for it, I know why they did it and went that direction of him taking off his helmet this way, is that he holds that most sacred than any other thing, obviously, throughout the show. And the one thing he holds dear to his heart, he will rid of himself because he cares that much about Grogu. So Din walks in, takes his helmet off, recognition, finds the information he needs, walks out. But now the officer that Bill Burr worked under goes over to Din Djarin and starts, asking him, what's your TK number, all this stuff. Basically, Bill Burr, gets the chutzpah and walks in and basically is like, yeah, his TK number's there, but his ears don't work because he worked on this thing. I don't really remember what it was, but basically he can't fucking hear. And then the officer starts screaming and he, dude starts looking at him like that. It was funny. Then the officer invites them on for a drink, and they sit down and then they start talking about the Empire and what to cheers to. Now we get a little backstory of Mayfield and why he left the Empire. He served an Operation Cinder under this officer. So basically, if you don't know what Operation Cinder is, it's actually a callback to Battlefront 2 campaign, which I thought was super cool. But basically, after the Battle of Endor, Palpatine had a contingency plan where he didn't want basically anyone to outlive him. Basically, he eradicated thousands. And Bill Burr was one of the Imperial troops working on one of those planets that Operation Cinder happened on. Which, if you really think about it, and I hate to say this, to us it's personal, and 10,000 is like, holy crap, that's a lot of people. But in retrospect, when we're talking in the billions of, with other planets and stuff, that really is such a small, minute number. And as the officer brings up, he's like, that's a small price for the Empire, the greater good. But, the humanization of us, we sit there and say, that's not worth it. 10,000 lives and that rebel spirit in us, that's not right. And you can see Bill Burr is like getting really emotional talking about this thing, and he's like, his eyes kind of water up. I thought he was gonna cry, but I can see now after of what he does, it's more out of anger. His own, like, eyes watering, and he's sitting there, and he's like, Operation Cinder, and they're about to cheers, and then out of fucking nowhere, he just shoots the officer. And I honestly did not expect that. In the back of my head, I kind of thought that could have been a possibility, but I never thought he was gonna shoot him, because they're literally in the middle of an Imperial base. Like, what? And obviously everyone's like standing there, like one guy's holding a tray of food, and then everyone else is just standing around looking. And everyone's like, what the fuck just happened? And then obviously a shootout starts, and Slave One swoops in and saves them on the rooftop. Which Slave One, it looks beautiful in these shots, flying. It looks amazing. Actually, as they're flying away, Boba Fett releases a seismic charge from the Slave One. And I mean, come on. That was super cool. It definitely looked like Attack of the Clones. It freaking sounded like it too. That gave me chills. It brought back a lot of memories of my youth, and it was super cool to see him use it, actually. But at the end of the episode, they landed and they're picking up everyone, and then they're like, Bill Burr Mayfield, he definitely died on this mission. Basically saying that and insinuating that he's free to go, and he's suspectedly dead, so he's free. And it was super cool. Bill Burr was funny. He's like, "Are you sure? Can I go? Can I go?" And it was funny. He left it, but now he's a free man. And I think his character really has a nice arc, even though he's only been in 2 episodes. I really enjoyed his character, and I thought it was super, super cool. Hopefully I didn't miss anything. I know I missed a couple things, like I know there was a cycler rifle used to blow up the Rhydonium that blew up the factory, like stuff like that. The cycler rifle's from Battlefront, by the way. I know there's a little bit Easter eggs here and there and stuff like that, but I think I covered everything major. That's all the time we have for today, guys. Thanks for watching this. All my social links are in the description. If you like Instagram, if you like watching Twitch streamers, all of that is in the description. Thank you guys for watching, and as always, may the Force be with you.